Hello, everyone. This is Studying the Bible with Brother Bolin. Thank you all for joining me again. I want to open up with two passages of scripture, and then I'm going to give you the reason why I'm reading these scriptures. First, let's go to the book of Galatians chapter 5. Galatians chapter 5, verse 19. When you follow the desires of your sinful nature, the results are very clear. Sexual immorality, impurity, lustful pleasures, idolatry, sorcery, hostility, quarreling, jealousy, outbursts of anger. I want to stop right there. Outbursts of anger. Keep that phrase, outbursts of anger, in mind. Now, let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 3. The Apostle Paul's letter to Brother Timothy. You should know this, Timothy, that in the last days there will be very difficult times, for people will love only themselves and their money. They will be boastful and proud, scoffing at God, disobedient to their parents, and ungrateful. They will consider nothing sacred. They will be unloving and unforgiving. They will slander others and have no self-control. So keep that phrase. In the last days, they will have no self-control in this particular passage, and also Galatians the 5th chapter, the phrase outbursts of anger. Now, as we all know, and I had a request from one of my sisters in the Lord that asked me not to do any more videos on Will Smith and Chris Rock. So I haven't done any videos at this point on Will Smith and Chris Rock, unless I feel that I have to. However, I did a video some time ago, and I made the statement that Will Smith's actions, right, would open Pandora's box, or basically open a portal, if you will, a demonic portal that would cause people to do the same thing that Will Smith did. In other words, he basically opened the gateway for this kind of action to be taken against comedians or people on stage in general. Then I did another video where the, I think it was the rap star T.I., who is now trying to be a comedian, heckling a female comedian in a stage show some time ago. He began heckling. This is after the Will Smith debacle. He started heckling her, and he actually literally got up on stage and took the microphone from her. Okay. Now something else has happened. Just like I said it would happen, just like other YouTubers like Anthony Brown Logan said, you're going to see more of these incidences. Well, you're asking, what am I talking about? Well, comedian Dave Chappelle was attacked by a male who bum rushed him on stage and tried to tackle him. And this happened Tuesday while he was on stage. So tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get right into this. We're going to read this article from Breitbart News, and we're going to dissect this. The title of the article is Dave Chappelle attacked on stage during Hollwood Bowl show. So comedian Dave Chappelle was attacked Tuesday night as he stood on stage during a performance at the Hollwood Bowl in Los Angeles. A host of clips shared on social media showed him being floored by an onlooker who rushed the stage set and took him down in a flying tackle. Now, before I go any further, if you guys want to be able to actually view the actual clip itself, you can look in the description box and type up www.breitbart.com, and you can Google that, and then look for the title of the particular article, and then you can go to that article and you can watch for yourself the actual video clip of this guy charging comedian Dave Chappelle. When I first saw this, I actually thought it was a joke. I said, oh man, this is a joke, because the news source that I saw it from, it says news media or something like that. I had never heard of this news source before. So I'm like, is this some kind of a parody or something like that? But I say, well, so I started looking on Breitbart News, which you all know is one of my favorite online conservative news sites. Come find out it was true. So let's go on. After returning to the stage on Tuesday, the 48-year-old joked it was a trans man. Meanwhile, his assailant was apprehended and removed from the site with injuries. Los Angeles Police Department officials told NBC Los Angeles the suspect was armed. Get this now. The suspect was armed, quote, with a replica gun that could eject a knife blade when discharged correctly. Let me say that again. Quote, the NBC Los Angeles, Los Angeles Police Department officials told NBC Los Angeles the suspect was armed, quote, with a replica gun that could eject a knife blade when discharged correctly. So it seems to indicate that this man who tried to tackle comedian Dave Chappelle on stage, and I actually watched this, it was crazy. Tackle him on stage, wanted to do some serious harm. Let's read on. According to ABC journalist Stephanie Wash, fellow comic Chris Rock, who was slapped on stage by Will Smith at the Oscars in March, then came on stage with Chappelle. This is crazy, man. So he happened to be there. You can't but wonder is some of this stuff a setup. I don't know, man. It just seems ironic, you know, but it's just, let's just go on. Let's read on. U.S.-based British journalist Sharon Carpenter said actor and singer Jamie Foxx also joined Chappelle. And this is one of the tweets of Sharon Carpenter. This journalist, Sharon Carpenter, she tweets, Chris Rock and Jon Stewart were among the group of comedians performing alongside Dave Chappelle tonight when the incident happened. Jamie Foxx jumped on stage to help and make sure Dave was okay. It's just crazy, y'all. But we all know the word. The Bible prophesies these things would happen. In another video, Chappelle could be seen thanking his famous friends for helping out, saying, quote, whenever you in trouble, Jamie Foxx will show up in a sheriff's hat. Good he had a sense of humor with this. I thought that was part of the show, Fox responded. Later, the comedian sounded a note of both shock and levity, saying, I've been doing this for 35 years. I just stomped, and he uses foul language. Of course, I'm not going to lose that here. Well, he didn't use foul language, but he used the N-word. So, I just stomped on backstage. I've always wanted to do that. Fox gave a more serious assessment. You know what? I'm going to let you guys listen in. I'll read this. I'll read the title article because it's pretty straight. Fox gave a more serious assessment. Jamie Foxx gave his words. Says, listen, I just want to say this man is an absolute genius. We've got to make sure we protect him at all times, said Fox. For every comedian who comes out here, this means everything. You're a genius. You're a legend. And we're not going to let nothing happen to you, end quote. A spokeswoman for the Hollwood Bowl said an investigation has been launched, with the BBC reporting. They said, quote, the incident that occurred at the Hollwood Bowl on May 3rd, 2022 is an active investigation and we are unable to comment further at this time. In October, about 100 people protested against outside Netflix's headquarters over the airing of a comedy special by Chappelle, which they said was transphobic. So there's this argument that maybe perhaps this person was transphobic because that's what, Dave Chappelle kind of joked about. Chappelle returned fire at those Chappelle returned fire at those he said wanted to, quote, cancel him. To the transgender community, I am more than willing to give you an audience, he said, but you will not summon me. I am not bending to anyone's demands. End quote. And that's the end of the article right there. As I said earlier in the previous video, I said this is going to happen, and it happened. And the two scripture verses that I read to you, the one in particular that really stood out to me was in the book of Galatians, when the Apostle Paul talked about one of the characteristics of the flesh, or the workings of the flesh, is outbursts of anger. You think about outbursts of anger. People, we all get angry. But an outburst of anger is a sudden action. It's like it just overtakes a person and it just go off. That's an outburst of anger. Now you connect that to what Paul said in 2 Timothy chapter 3 when he talked about one of the characteristics of people in the end of days will be a lack of self-control. This is what we're seeing more and more of. And we're going to see more and more of this. We're going to see more and more of this kind of action, unfortunately. But let me say this to all born again Christians. To be quite frank with you, this shouldn't discourage us. And this shouldn't discourage us as Christians because this simply is showing us the fulfillment of Bible prophecy. And if the Bible is being fulfilled in this area, it will be fulfilled in any other area. If the Bible is true here, it's true everywhere else. This isn't fulfillment of Bible prophecy. Jesus is soon to return. So that's what that's showing me. How I see that is that's showing me that Jesus is soon to return. I'm not discouraged by this. But as Christians, we have to always stay prayerful. We have to always stay discerning. We have to always stay on top of things. We have to always give a reason behind the chaos that we see going on in the world today. Unfortunately, a lot of unbelievers don't come to Christians because a significant number of Christians, not everybody, but a significant number of Christians don't know how to answer. They don't know what to say about stuff like this. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to say. But the Bible gives answers. And I just gave one of those. I just gave a couple of those answers. So what do you guys think about this incident with Dave Chappelle and this man running on the stage trying to tackle him and having this, replica gun with a knife in it? It's just insane. But the Bible predicts these things will happen. And unfortunately, more of these things will occur in the future, I believe. So but what do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button. Share this video and subscribe. God bless you all and see you again on Studying the Bible with Brother Bolin.